When you peel your clothes off, you want to drop jaws. You want people to be like, holy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. Today, we're talking about building muscle, building bigger muscles, building the biggest muscles you ever imagined. And Lord knows, if you're like me, all I wanted to do as a young man was get freaking huge, get swole. Man, I wanted to be so big, so nasty, people would freak out when they saw me. Over the years, of course, my goals have changed. And what I want to do is I want to teach you best practices in how to actually build muscle regardless of where you're starting. So in this video, I'm going to teach you, number one, the best body part split to follow. Number two, the most ideal rep range to build muscle. And number three, the best exercise selection to maximize muscle growth. Sounds good? Fair? Get ready. Let's go. There are a wide variety of programs out there. In fact, there are likely more programs out there than we can ever discuss in one broadcast. There's most prominently, we have the bro split. What is the bro split? Let me help you understand that. The bro split has been made popular by bodybuilders, professional bodybuilders, and aspiring bodybuilders. These bodybuilders are heavily influenced by drugs. They're taking boatloads of pharmaceuticals, steroids, and growth hormone, and a whole wide variety of other agents that keep coming into that culture. This conversation is not focused on the drug-enhanced athlete. Although drug-enhanced athletes will probably see better muscle growth by following the program I'm about to lay out for you. But those bodybuilders, the higher-level drug-induced bodybuilders, they often follow what is known as the bro split. The bro split is simply training one body part per day, once per week. That's the bro split. They have their chest day, they have their shoulder day, they have their back day, they have their leg day, they have their arm day. That's kind of the program. Sometimes they'll break up, they'll do a hamstring day, a quad day, or do the hamstrings in the morning and quads at night, biceps in the morning, triceps at night. They'll break it up depending, I believe, on how much drugs they're taking. And I'm not mad at that. I don't care. It's just a fact. And most of our friends on the other side of the aisle, they all agree with that. Why is that? Why do they see such dramatic benefit on the bro split? It's because of the growth agents they are ingesting or injecting, I should say, ingesting and injecting. That's fair. But also because of the muscle preservation capacity of those pharmaceuticals. Now, you and I are more focused on how to maximize our body's natural growth mechanisms. And the one we're going to focus on, which is going to lay out the exact split we're talking about, is muscle protein synthesis. We understand, science understands, and this has become a widely accepted and irrefutable concept with regards to building muscle. A muscle stimulated has a 48-hour growth window if stimulated adequately, fed and rested adequately. What does this mean? That means if I train my bicep on a Monday with the proper intensity, which is volume and load, how many sets and reps at relative of 1 rep max, I'll get into that here in a second, and then fed properly, having an ample protein supply to help build this new muscle tissue. And there's a wide variety of offshoots of that conversation. I won't get down that deep because it doesn't really matter for you. You just want to get huge. But what we know is if we train each muscle once every 48 to 72 hours, we will actually maximize the growth potential of that muscle. If we push that off much farther than 96 hours or so, which is 4 days, we actually start to lose that growth capability. Now, if I'm training each body part once every 7 days, I'm missing out on almost double the growth potential of that muscle group. So this is important. Now, this is why my preference is the push-pull leg system, which is a hybrid of the push-pull system. Now, what's the push-pull system? The push-pull system is a little more old school, not in a bad way, in an excellent way, but with regards to the ability to train each muscle for the aesthetic purpose, the push-pull system was slightly limited. Now, this conversation is about the average dude out there or gal, because ladies, this works equally well for you. This might even work better for ladies because most ladies shy away from resistance training, and I want to see the ladies run towards resistance training. But guys, this is for you. You want to look as strong as you are. Now, there's a lot of guys and gals out there who are really strong, but they just don't look it. They don't look very strong. They don't have that beautiful aesthetic physique. When they peel off their shirt, they don't have those rippling muscles. That would be slightly more akin to a push-pull system. The push-pull legs allows us an extra exercise or two per session to focus on bringing out some more of that muscle density. I'll explain that when I get to exercise selection. So the push-pull legs. Now, those who've been following this channel for the last few years, you've heard me speak about the multi-joint compound movement being preferential to isolation exercises. In that, you've heard me talk about the full body system. Now, this is the old school. Back in the turn of the 20th century, late 1800s, early 1900s, the pre-steroid era of the 40s and 50s and 60s. The strongest, most sculpted humans on the planet were primarily men. They were primarily training every other day, full body. They train 3 days a week. They do their entire body in one training session. They take a day off. Now, most of these athletes were functional athletes in other sports. They were wrestlers. They were boxers. They were strongmen. They were farm workers. So they were getting in, whether they wanted to or not, intended to or not, they were getting in their GPP, general physical preparedness work, on their off days, which is, we know today, is exceptional with regards to having that athletic fitness concept that we really strive for. But for the context of this video, building bigger muscles, right? We all want to build bigger muscles. We want to look as good as we are capable of functioning. So the strength potential, we want to look at, we want to have that round, shapely, dense, thick muscle that's vascular and grainy and have the striations. We want to like take our shirt off and people be like, damn, like, look at that dude. That's fucking, wow. Like, I want to look like that. That's the way we want to look. And that's okay. Like there's strong people out there who might even look strong, but they don't look visually impressive. The point of this video is to be fucking strong and look physically impressive with your shirt off. So we're going to be building those big, dense, round, shapely, functional muscles. We're going to do that by performing the push-pull leg system. That is simply breaking your muscle groups into primary movement patterns. The upper body pushing patterns, which will primarily train your chest, your deltoids, your triceps. This is the general concept of the pushing, upper body push. The upper body pull will primarily train your back, your lats, your traps, your erectors, and your bicep. And then we have the legs. The legs will primarily be your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. Now, we will pay attention because there's some carryover here. There's always carryover. I'm going to touch on the exercise selection. Now, when we run a push-pull legs, that is Monday is push, Tuesday is pull, Wednesday is legs, Thursday is push, Friday is pull, Saturday is legs. I like to run the push-pull system consistently without a day off. Without a day off until you need a day off. Okay? You don't always have to take Sunday off. Many of us can train much longer than the 7-day week would dictate. So do not limit your gains and your progress to that 7-day week. Now, as training loads get heavier, you might need to take an extra day off, which would be push-pull legs off, push-pull legs off. That's fine. Also, this gives you greater variability with regards to your ability to improve volume and training intensity. Especially in the beginning, I like to train consistently without taking a day off. I will constantly rotate my exercise selection that we'll talk about here in a moment in order to keep changing the stimulation, thereby not burning out, providing new stimuli to the central nervous system, not having to bang my head against an increasingly heavier and heavier and heavier barbell. Let's say I'm going back squats on my leg day, barbell back squats. I do 405, 410, 415, 420. Progressive overload is great, but it gets to the point that I cannot add 5 pounds to that movement day in, day out, session in, session out. So I'll do a barbell back squat 1 session, a barbell front squat 1 session, a Bulgarian split squat 1 session, a high box step up 1 session, a low bar safety squat, low box or a low box safety squat 1 session. Now it's a constant variety of exercise selection that my nervous system must adapt to, and I can continuously PR for months into the future, constantly changing exercise selection. I'm going to get to exercise selection at the end of this. Now, we have the push-pull down, and we can run that continuously with breaks as needed. When do you need a break? You know when you need a break. You know when you need a break. Depending on your level of experience will matter. If you need to take 1 day off, take 1 day off. If you're taking 2 days off per week, well, you better be training pretty damn intensely. Like, you better be training pretty damn intensely, because there is no gains if you're not pushing that, if you're not focused on progressive overload. So push, pull, legs, run concurrently. Rep range. This is a big misconception. The ideal rep range to build muscle and build strength is somewhere in the 6 to 12 repetition range. Between 3 to 6 repetitions, we're building almost primarily strength. Between 8 to 12 repetitions, we're building strength, but now we're building more muscle. Okay, so there's actually a blend, because the lower the repetitions and the higher the weight, the greater strength, the greater force we can exert. So the greater strength we will build. There's different types of strength, but again, not necessary for this video. And the higher the rep range, the more energy capacity the muscle needs. And there's a concept of glycogen storage, that we're actually teaching the muscles to hold and store more glycogen, which actually increases the size of the muscle. So sacroplasmic hypertrophy, which is that concept. Myofibrillar hypertrophy is more of the density of the fiber in myofibrillar, and then sacroplasmic is more of the fiber itself holding more volume, more glycogen, essentially. We want to hit both. So rep range ideally is between 6 to 12, with the sweet spot being closer to 8. Now, let's talk about this for a second here. So we have the push-pull legs. We're going to be running that. Upper body push muscles, upper body pull muscles, lower body. We're going to be training. Ideally, the first exercise should be the most taxing of all the exercises. That's the bread and butter. This is the key movement of the day. On the push day, let's say, now we're going to blend over into part 3 of this video, which is exercise selection. And keep asking questions, my friends. I will answer your questions here at the end of this video. I'm almost done now. Exercise selection. So, exercise selection on upper body push day for me will likely be the standing barbell military press. That's exercise 1. That is going to be a war. A war. I am going to battle that barbell, which is set at approximately shoulder height in the power rack. I'm going to Frankenstein my way forward to grab the bar, dip under the bar, stand up, unrack it, and then I'm ready to go. Feet planted, soft knees, tight core, deep breath. Boom, and explode my way up and through, right? Man, that's heavy. Scarily heavy, right? Heavy. Perfect form. Biomechanically correct. That is the heaviest of the exercises. On back day, that might be a bent over pendlay row with a medium grip. I'm not a big fan of heavy wide grip pendlays. I think it's too much erector involvement. I like more of a medium grip, taken down slightly lower to the rib cage, not higher up on the chest. And if I digress here, but if I do go wider, we'll go a little lighter on that. We might also start the upper body pull day with a heavy underhand weighted chin. Man, if you've done heavy underhand weighted chins, and when we do underhand chins, by the way, my friends, we don't get our stupid little chins over the barbell and think that's a rep. We pull knuckles to nipples. That's a true rep. And you think about, because right here, my elbows aren't even that low. I have to fully pull my elbows behind my back to properly contract that lat. If you're just getting your stupid little chin kipping above the bar, you're wasting your time. Go do a Zumba class instead, right? So think knuckles to nipples on every chin, or you're doing it wrong. But the point is, that first exercise, we're shooting for about 6 repetitions. Right? 6 repetitions on that first exercise is the goal. Second exercise, we're shooting for somewhere between 6 to 8 repetitions. Third exercise, then we're moving up 8 to 10, 10 to 12. As we get deeper into the workout, the load will slightly lighten relative to the scope of the session, because now I'm actually activating more of the energy reserves anyway. And as I'm starting to fatigue, it from a safety perspective makes greater sense to start training more biomechanically correct movements with slightly lighter loads that I can fully stretch and squeeze those muscles through full range of motion. This will increase the glycogen storage capacity of those fibers also. So we are able to hit those myofibrillar hypertrophy, or activate that myofibrillar hypertrophy, right? The dense thickness of the fiber, and also the sacroplasmic capabilities of that fiber, the glycogen storage. Because that's why we look at that like 6 to 12 rep range. Last set of the overhead militaries of that first exercise, I might take a 4 rep max. I might hit a PR and hit a 4 rep on that day for sure. For sure, on certain exercises, I will do that. I definitely will do that on a weighted chin with perfect form, for sure. So, push-pull legs, right? Now, I'll do a recap, and I see that there's more people who just joined in. I'm going to answer some questions here. Feel free to ask some questions here on the side. I'm going to answer your questions, but let me do a quick recap for those of you who just jumped in. Building big muscles, right? That's what everybody wants. We want to build big, thick, round, shapely, fucking badass muscles. And we want to be strong. We don't want to just be some soft ass, big for nothing, sitting at the cable curl machine, just pumping 25 reps with 10 pounds. Because that can actually blow some air into some muscles too. And you'll get a little bit of a fit look, but you're going to be weaker than my sister, right? That's not what we're looking for. We want to have some nasty bone crushing strength, but also when you peel your clothes off, you want to drop jaws. You want people to be like, holy shit. Like, did you see him? Like, what the fuck, man? Dude had muscles everywhere. That's the reaction. If you don't have that reaction, your training is suspect. If you're like, oh, well, you know, I can see some pecs, I can see some abs, I can see it's a little bicep with a little vein. If that's all you have, that's weak sauce, man. I'm telling you, that's weak sauce. You are incomplete. You're incomplete. Look at a gymnast's physique. Look at a wrestler's physique. Like, really, let's talk about the gymnast. Look at a gymnast's body. That is how complete your body should look. And you have the same genetic potential as all of them. You have the same genetic potential. You just don't train like them. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and do some iron crosses and whatnot, but I'm teaching you right now through this video how to train your body properly. And it's the wide variety of these multi-joint compound movements trained in a functional capacity, biomechanically correct, between 6 to 12 repetitions. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. If you like this type of content, short, quick, straight to the point clips, definitely subscribe to the channel so you're notified when videos like these come out. You might want to check out one of these videos for more great content guaranteed to make you laugh, make you think, and make your life better. Let's go.